Today I want to tell you about very basic matter related to chemistry. And in this part, today we are going to talk about the matter, and second element, and third compound, and fourth atom, and then molecule. Matter, element, compound, atom, and molecule. Without the understanding of this basic matter, we cannot continue this chemistry. That's why today's focus is on basic of chemistry. Let's talk about the matter. What is it exactly? Actually, if we see around us, then we'll be able to see the matters only. I mean to say, like stone, houses, and air, water, whatever you see around you, they are actually matter. And how can we define this matter? The substances which has certain mass, which occupies certain space, can be borrowed from one place to another, and can be broken down into small fragments are called matter. We have to be very clear that matter has mass, it has volume, and it can be carried from one place to another place and can be broken down into fragments. Do you know the substances which are present around us, which we are saying matter, is of two types. I mean to say, it can be divided into two types. One is called element and another is called compound. Now let's go to element. What it is exactly? An element is a substance which cannot be split up into two or more than two other substances by any chemical means. For example, hydrogen, oxygen, iron, etc. There are so many elements, and till now 118 elements are declared. And what is the meaning of this definition? If we have an element and if we try to change it to other simpler substances by any chemical process, any chemical means, then we'll not be able to do so. That's why this is the identity of element. Iron is an element because when it is heated strongly, then it will convert into liquid. When liquid iron is also heated continuously, then it will convert into gas. But even after this, it is, if thrown in the sky, it produces a very nice scene, but it cannot be changed into other substance. It again remains same iron, and if a substance cannot be changed into other substances, then that is called element. Iron is an element. Now I'm talking about compound. Let's talk about compound. What is compound? Compound is a substance formed by the chemical combination of two or more than two elements in definite proportion. For example, water, carbon dioxide, etc. are compound. Now, I want to highlight this definition with 2 points. What is told? Chemical combination. Number 1 point. Have you noticed this? Number one, chemical combination, and number two is definite proportion. Now, what is the meaning of this saying? Now, I want to give example of chemical combination. What is the meaning of chemical combination? When hydrogen combines with oxygen, then they form water. In the same way, when carbon combines with oxygen, then they form what? Carbon dioxide. Have you noticed this? Hydrogen burns itself and oxygen helps in burning. But water formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen neither bonds nor it helps in burning. That's why totally new substance, that is water, formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. This is called chemically combined. Hydrogen and oxygen chemically combined with each other to form water, means they lost their property and completely new substance formed. In the same way, let's take example of the same carbon dioxide. Oxygen helps on burning. Without the oxygen, nothing burns. And carbon is a solid which bonds with the help of oxygen. But when these two combines with each other, carbon dioxide forms. Carbon dioxide never supports burning. It extinguishes fire. And oxygen is necessary in respiration, in breathing, but carbon dioxide doesn't support respiration or breathing. That's why we can say that oxygen and carbon are combined chemically with each other, and in chemical combination completely new substance forms. Second part of the definition of compound says that element combine in definite proportion to form compound. Now, what is the meaning of this thing? Look at this. When hydrogen combines with oxygen, then they form water. There is no doubt. But in this combination, two parts of hydrogen always combines with one part of oxygen to form water. We cannot change this proportion. Two parts of oxygen never combines with one part of hydrogen. This proportion between hydrogen and oxygen is fixed. It is 2:1. In the same way, when carbon and oxygen combines to form carbon dioxide gas, then two parts of oxygen combines with one part of carbon to form carbon dioxide gas. This proportion cannot be changed. Elements combine in a definite proportion to form compound, and this combination is chemical combination in which element loses all their chemical property and completely new substance forms. And what is atom exactly? We can define this way: the smallest particles of an element that can take part in the chemical reaction is called atom. It means the chemical reaction which brings changes in the substances and completely new substance forms. In that type of change, what is the unit, smallest unit which can take part in the chemical reaction? That is atom. And the atom is actually the smallest particle of element, which is the smallest unit of chemical reaction. Now, how it looks like, we'll talk about this later, but this is simple representation of hydrogen atom. It consists of a nucleus which contains proton and an orbit which contains electron. Electron revolves around the proton. This hydrogen atom is represented by a symbol H. The H symbol represents one single atom of hydrogen, and it is the smallest particle of the element hydrogen. In the same way, Fe represents iron, atom of iron. These are the symbols which represents atom of the particular element. Now this Cu, copper. This is atom of copper is denoted by Cu. Atom of gold is denoted by Au. In the same way, oxygen is an element. Its atom is denoted by the symbol O, single atom, and this is carbon. In the same way, sulfur, aluminium, and chlorine. There are 118 elements, and they have 118 different types of atom, different number of electrons, different number of proton and neutron they contain in each of the atom. Let's talk about molecule. What is it? How can we define molecule? This way: the smallest particle of a substance may be element or compound which can exist freely in nature and retains all the properties of that kind of substance is called molecule. What is the meaning of this saying? Molecule may be of an element or it may be of a compound. Normally the molecule word is associated with compound, but there are some elements which have molecule. Now let's see some elements. Hydrogen, wherever forms, it doesn't exist in monoatomic state. Two hydrogen atom combines with each other, they share electron with each other, and they form hydrogen molecule. In the same way, nitrogen also, two nitrogen atom combines with each other to form nitrogen molecule. And in the same way, there are other also, oxygen also combines in molecule. And in the same way, there are some elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These are the elements which are not available in the monoatomic state when they are free in the nature. They are always available in diatomic state. That's why while writing chemical reaction, we represent hydrogen as S2 molecule and oxygen as O2 molecule. In the same way, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, nitrogen also. It means the molecule of element contains similar atoms, but this is not true for the compound. Just for example, water is a compound, and water is made up of two different types of atom, one hydrogen atoms and oxygen atom, two dissimilar atoms, or more than two dissimilar atoms are seen in the molecule of compound. And that's why the molecule of element and molecule of compound is different, and all the element doesn't form molecule, few elements only form molecule, but all the compounds has the smallest unit molecule which represents all the property of that compound. Actually, we were talking about basic matter related with chemistry, and I told you about matter, element, compound, atom, and molecule. We were focused on these five basic of the chemistry. Okay, this much for today. We'll meet in another class.